12 huge Coronation Street spoilers for next week, the 21st of August to the 24th of August 2023. 1. Ryan tries to help Peter. Peter reluctantly informs Ryan that he needs some rent money from him as Peter owes £15,000 to Rufus's wife. Ryan promises to help and decides to ask for some extra shifts at the bistro, but Carla is less than impressed to learn that Peter has decided to pressure Ryan for money. Meanwhile, Ryan receives a flirty message from Liv, one of his online followers. He initially enjoys the attention but is taken aback when she asks him for a nude picture. 2. Ryan considers a career change. Ryan reveals to Sean and Daisy that he wants to make money from his social media accounts, but the pair warn him that he have to sell dodgy pictures to do so. Later, Ryan is gutted to learn that Daisy and Daniel are moving in together and backs out of his plans to meet Daisy for a drink. Concerned, Daisy drops by Ryan's flat to check up on him. Ryan makes out that he's fine, but when she leaves, he creates a profile on Ovids and posts his first video. 3. Ryan lashes out at Carla. Ryan's shocked to see the money pouring in after his first video and realizes he's onto a winner. He lies to Carla and Peter that his career as an online fitness influencer is taking off and he'll be able to pay his rent. When Ryan receives a message from another follower offering to pay for private pictures, Ryan is happy to oblige but is torn when the subscriber offers him more money for full body and face. Ryan is devastated to read a derogatory comment online about his scars and Carla attempts to reassure him. Suffering from the side effects of his steroid abuse, Ryan lashes out at Carla and hurls a glass across the room. 4. Paul continues to struggle with his condition. Billy notices that Paul's right leg is beginning to cause problems for him. Paul tries to hide the issue but it's clear he's upset at his body's deterioration. In a bid to help Paul's mobility, Billy presents him with a walking aid. Paul says that he'll need some time to get used to it, but is horrified when Billy suggests a wheelchair instead. 5. Paul suffers another fall. Paul is touched when Billy gives him an engagement ring for his birthday, but is quickly overwhelmed by the large crowd gathered for his party. Gemma suggests he gets some fresh air and take Bryn to the park, but when the youngster runs off, Paul tumbles to the ground. At the flat, Paul feels embarrassed as he explains that he can't manage the stairs and is lifted home by Billy and Todd. With his condition worsening, Paul realizes he needs a stair lift. 6. Billy and Paul clash. Paul tries to take his mind off things by preparing for Pride, but is devastated when his occupational therapist agrees with Billy that it's time to consider using a wheelchair. Paul is left furious after the conversation and blasts Billy before storming off. When David later finds Paul drinking vodka on a bench, he informs Billy, who blames himself. With the help of some drag queens, Paul makes it back to the Rovers safely, but is devastated to realize this will be his last ever Pride. 7. Michael comes to Cassie's rescue. Cassie tells Tyrone that she's going to the Citizens Advice Bureau to help her locate somewhere to live, but instead meets up with her drug dealer, Dean. When Cassie can't pay the money she owes him, Dean turns on her and Cassie ends falling to the ground in pain. Michael witnesses the incident and rushes Cassie to hospital. Dean follows the pair and attacks Michael, just as Ronnie arrives. Ronnie insists they call the police, but Cassie begs them not to. Later in the week, Cassie's nose is put out of joint when Tyrone introduces her to Kevin and Abby and points out that Abby is a recovering addict too. 8. Ronnie tries to convince Ed. After the incident with Cassie, Ronnie is shocked to learn from Michael that similar incidents happen all the time to Aggie in her line of work. Armed with the information, Ronnie uses it to try and convince Ed to join his new business deals so that Aggie can retire. 9. Ronnie fears Dee Dee will catch him out. Ronnie confides in Debbie that he took her advice and used the money from the Tavern Muse project in order to buy shares in Newton and Ridley. Dee Dee offers her services to help out with the admin for their new venture and to look over the accounts. While Ed is pleased, Ronnie tries to mask his unease. Todd realizes George has been keeping secrets. Todd discovers that Rest Easy had invited him to discuss career opportunities with them, but George threw their business card in the bin behind his back. Todd is peeved by George's dishonesty and takes Glenda's advice to ask for a raise. When George is non-committal about Todd's request, Todd speaks to Rest Easy and is impressed by the lucrative offer they make. Todd and George are at loggerheads. Todd and George are at war over Todd's decision to speak with Rest Easy. Eileen tries to convince Geo. Meanwhile, Todd prepares for his first wake at Rest Easy but is concerned that the company's policies are capitalizing on the family's grief. Later, Todd and George both make out that they're happier without each other, but it's clear they miss their old relationship. 12. Stephen has Jenny in his sights. Having put Elaine behind him, Stephen once again turns his attention to Jenny. He invites her to a wine tasting event, but Jenny turns the offer down. Later, Stephen is unimpressed to see that Jenny knocked him back to attend Lily's birthday party and uses the opportunity to try and win her round.
Chào các bạn đã quay trở lại UK Soát Spoiler. Vừa rồi các bạn đã theo dõi một sản phẩm của chúng tôi, UK Soát Spoiler, một kênh tin tức chuyên cung cấp cho các bạn những thông tin mới nhất về những bộ phim xà phòng của Vương quốc Anh như EastEnders, Emeritus, Coronation Street và Hollywood. Các bạn hãy để lại bình luận bên dưới về những thông tin chúng tôi đã nêu trong video. Hãy like và subscribe để ủng hộ kênh. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn.